Hello and welcome to the Footy Times Premier League review show. We are back with another round of games from the weekend. Before we head into the content, as ever, please, some house rules: like, share, and subscribe these videos. It only takes a second for you to like it, but gives us a lot of engagement and helps us get our content out there. Which obviously means that we'll be motivated to do more videos in the future. And we've got some nice content lined up. So hopefully if you subscribe, you will be notified of those as well as and when they come out. So, okay, without further ado, let's jump into the content. I think there's only one place to start from this weekend. It was the North London derby. I know it's not quite the same as in previous years. There's not much at stake.
Battle for the 10th place.
Talk about it.
But everyone,
It's a mid-table match. But yeah, it still generates a lot of interest, so we still have to talk about it. So we'll bring our in-house Arsenal fan,
so yeah,
Rahul.
I guess last week these guys said that Manchester is red, and this week we have the North London to be red now, I guess. And how and like
Yes.
the way we went around winning the match was pretty incredible. Like you never saw Harry Kane in the picture, I feel. Like we never thought of him carrying any attacks or he did convert, but it was an offside at the end of the game. He hit a post with a free kick at the end. I think there was a couple of minutes left. But yeah, surprisingly, like with the starting lineup, I felt like we are going to get clobbered out there with like Mora, Bale, Son, and Kane up there. I don't think we had in us to sort of like on the counter. I thought they were just going to kill us, but yeah, I feel like the tactics and everything, and as we were discussing before the call, the left wing sort of did the trick for Arsenal. The first goal coming up from like courtesy Turney, putting it on the platter for Odegaard. Even before that, a lot of attacks came from the left. I think Lacazette was sort of he missed a few chances. He didn't take them in their stride and put it in. I feel which was a bit weird. He was a striker. He faked a few he let go of one, hoping someone behind him would convert. But
Dummy.
anyways, he was the number nine. I thought he should have sort of put the ball in the back of the net. So yeah, he missed a couple of chances, but he won that penalty. We sort of got that winner from him. Uh,
Was it actually a
so yeah,
penalty?
It was.
okay. So I this is my sort of clarification or whatever. I don't know the rules or whatever. So he definitely,
We should
sorry,
just
what?
ask everyone. Go ahead, Rahul. Sorry. Go
No, no,
ahead.
what
Yeah,
I'm
go ahead. And I was going to say we can ask everyone
yeah,
if it's a
yeah.
penalty, but you can
Okay.
go first.
So according to me, it was a foul and hence a penalty. So Lacazette had lost the ball for sure. Like his first touch was absolutely crap. He had lost the ball. He was no way he was going to score the goal, round off or anything. But the tackle was a foul. Like the way Sanchez, I think, cluttered into him, it was a foul and hence a penalty for me is what I feel. So Sheldon is definitely not agreeing with me. So I think let's take his opinion.
I feel like he already, he
Yeah, he
lost
did.
the ball. That if you take the incident in isolation, he already lost possession of the ball. There was no way he was going to be in a position to
Right.
score after that. And even though Sanchez, did not end up touching the ball or anything, he did foul him. But I just felt like I
So,
don't know. I don't know what the rules
yeah,
are
me too.
specific to this, but in my opinion, I don't think it should have been a penalty as such.
But
I don't know if he wasn't. I think the ball was still in play. So that's the thing, right?
Yeah, exactly.
First of all, what kind what kind of a finish was that?
Yeah,
It was so bad. It was so bad that actually what happened was it basically was still in play. Like it was
Yeah.
still close to him. So because of that, he had a chance to get to it if he hadn't been taken out. So that's how
uh,
I see it. If he had actually
Yeah.
connected with it and sent it into the stands or
Then it
whatever,
would probably,
it
yeah.
wouldn't have been a
Then,
uh,
penalty.
yeah,
no,
I think,
but
yeah,
it,
yeah, I agree to that. I
But
think since the ball was in play when the foul happened, it has to be given. Like technicalities, other like whether he could reach the ball or not is a separate story altogether. But technically, yeah, you cannot discount that.
no, but
So if you were to look at the reverse angle, right, from the referee's point of view, I think it was difficult for the ref to really decide whether it was a foul when the ball was in possession. So I think, and with the VAR, it stays with the on-field call.
Umpire's decision.
So
Yeah.
they just had to keep it
Not
as it
enough to
is.
overturn it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
it
Okay,
was
but
not a clear-cut opportunity for scoring because, as I said, after the first touch, the ball was gone pretty much. But if you see the foul, it was like if you see him crashing into him, it was foul. Like apart from me being an Arsenal fan or
yeah,
whatever, I feel like technically it has to be a foul and hence a penalty because it happened inside the box, is what I feel. But
Mm.
I think the pass from Pepe was like
yeah,
Brilliant.
yeah,
out of the world. It was one
Yeah.
of the very good passes.
yeah,
So
Yeah.
he is coming out on his own.
I think Pepe changed the game, right? After
Yeah.
coming on, he he did pretty awesome.
As in, even in the first half, I felt like Arsenal were
Yeah,
pretty good. It's just that they couldn't like
yeah,
hitting the
hit
post a
the
couple
post
of
two times,
times, and
Smith Rowe and Cedric.
yeah,
But that was the thing, right? Like in the first half, like we were playing so well, and I was dreading that this will happen. Like we applying pressure and then Tottenham getting the goal, which all due credit to Lamela.
We
It
have to talk
was
about the goal.
a brilliant
yeah,
goal. Rabona and then the nutmeg. Yeah,
nutmeg plus Rabona.
Rabona,
It has to be given its
right.
own title now. Lamela. This is a
Yeah, he
Lamela.
did it second time, right? He did it like in 2011 or something
Yeah,
against Aston
he
Villa.
did a he did a
Rabona goal.
Rabona. Yeah, he did a
Yeah.
Rabona even then. Yeah,
but I
that's
don't think
true.
he did
No,
a
not a
nutmeg
nutmeg.
that time.
Dude,
No, he
Rabona,
didn't.
like just
I feel Nutmeg was
right.
a coincidence. I
Yeah,
don't really think that he planned it to perfection, but if he
Yeah,
does it again, then maybe yeah, call it Lamela goal or whatever.
Yeah, but the way
speaking,
he
yeah,
it's
generated
like
power, it was pretty incredible. Like, yeah,
it's
that goal was
incredible.
definitely the
I
standout.
think
Yeah,
I
Yeah,
think he'll
it
go down as
was.
one of the best in the Premier League, like alongside the likes of Rooney and all of those goals that we've seen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think to keep
Uh,
it level, right? Keep it on the ground
No,
with that sort
and
of
the power, I feel like, how do you generate? There is no swing to the foot, right? Like, I mean, there is, but it's very
yeah,
limited. So how do you generate that kind
no
of
backlash.
power?
yeah. It's like that
Right.
whip kind of an action that comes from
End
the
of the foot.
I think from your joint, and
Yeah.
then it's like
Yeah.
yeah, it's pretty amazing. But he had like a game. He had such a
Right.
weird game. Like he had the highs and the lows
Yes.
in the same game, and it was. I felt good in a way. I think justice was done in whatever like the shit decisions happened against United.
Yeah.
Uh,
oh yeah.
yeah, so it's like
Against
I for some reason I cannot tolerate that guy. He's just such a pain to watch.
He winds people up. That's what he
Yeah,
does. That's his role. First is
it
winding people up, then it's
it
playing football.
it reminds me of he's an Argentinian,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It reminds me of like how in Chak De India they describe Argentina. It looks like it's like a mastery. They have a binding people up like Mascherano, Lamela. It looks like they know how to get below the skins of
Yeah.
people.
And yeah, Jose always loves a player like that. I think
Yeah,
Herrera used to do a similar job.
that's true.
He won the
but I
last.
think that's how Jose operates, right? He kind of brings out that emotion of anger in his players, and then they just go out and kind of kill the opposition. So I think that's his way of motivating the team.
Yeah.
Yeah,
what a huge loss is Son gonna
Yeah.
be?
yeah.
But he's not going to be out for long, is what I heard. Like it was not a major tear or something, is what I heard. I'm not too sure. Uh,
But I thought he
yeah, he
pulled his
pulled, but it
hamstring,
was
so
like
the
not a total tear or something. I don't know. From the reports that
oh,
I heard, I don't think he's out for long. But yeah, definitely.
Anyway,
Yeah.
what happened to Arsenal in the last 10 minutes
Yeah,
though?
I don't.
They did their best. They did their best to drop points or lose the game even. It was
Yeah,
ridiculous.
this was the last like 5, 7 minutes was so nervy, and upon that there were like 5 extra minutes. I'm like, dude, just get the whistle and get this over with. I was like super nervous
Yeah.
in the last 10.
I think the last run of Lucas Moura at the end, that was like taking on what 4 5 Arsenal
And you feel like he's
players
going to convert.
right
Yeah,
before. I think the second free kick that Kane won
Kane,
towards the
yeah.
very end,
That's
yeah.
really good.
that
Amazing.
was like scary,
Ga-
man.
yeah,
yeah,
But
yeah.
It's
Gabriel
almost like
became the hero and like a goal line clear, pretty much a goal line
yeah,
clearance, like after the rebound, like from the
he
free kick.
like yeah. So
yeah. It's almost like Arsenal are more used to being down to 10 men rather than playing against 10 men.
No,
So
but
they didn't know
But I
how to react
always
to
say
that.
like 10-man teams are difficult to play. Like somehow they have that verve to sort of get back to the game or prove something.
Yeah.
Like apart from Tottenham, like generally
Yeah,
10-man teams are sometimes more dangerous than 11-person team is what I feel somehow.
Unless it's against Man City.
And unless it is Southampton.
Murder you.
He won
It's
9.
Southampton. Yeah.
but I realize one thing: Southampton do love to take on risk, right? The way they play is like so
Yeah,
risky,
Yeah.
and
They
if you are
can
10
defend.
men like with that sort of play, so like game
it's
style,
not it's not
bound to get
sustainable.
like
Yeah,
9 goals, 10 goals. Yeah. So
That's the thing. It's already so risky, and they don't have that level of player to be able to play that. And when you're down to 10 men, it's even harder. Anyway, yeah, I think
Yeah, but
let's move. So I can talk about Tottenham actually. What I don't know. Jose Mourinho, man. Like, what tactics were those?
his
shit tactics
as
as it
usual.
as
Yeah,
it has
I
been
mean
for
there was nothing new.
like it was
Yeah.
nothing different. It was nothing
No,
different.
yeah, sure, but if you go to play that way, then why play Bale on the right? You can't play four attackers and then ask them to play, park the bus. It made no sense. There was such a disconnect between the lineup that he picked and the tactics.
Yeah,
But
I think Bale was picked on form, completely on form, and
Yeah,
nothing
but
else.
fair enough. But then you can't play like that. I
Yeah,
mean, Doherty got absolutely killed, and Doherty is not even that good. He
yeah,
left him
that's true.
exposed against two players. He can't even defend one-on-one, let alone two-on-one.
That's true.
I
Yeah,
don't.
it was. I think I don't know. It was for once I felt that Jose was driven by emotions and not like
Tactical
his
prowess.
usual like
Yeah.
tactical. Yeah,
Yeah.
he got pulled into picking, as in probably shouldn't have picked Mora if he really wanted to pick Bale. But I think that would have been the wrong pick,
Yeah.
anyways.
Or
As in,
even Ndombele in midfield, right? I
yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah, exactly. I thought that having Ndombele partnered with what was Hoiberg?
Hoiberg,
oh,
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he had a bad game also. Hoiberg also had a bad game.
Ndombele is definitely not the. I mean, I think we've spoken this multiple times. He's not very disciplined, and he should be played up up in the Mora role, I suppose.
Either that or you play front-footed, right? You press the ball high, you try to win it
Like,
back, and
like, I don't,
so I mean, for me, it was
I don't know. I felt like the midfield also got pretty much run over by Arsenal.
yeah.
I seriously feel that like Spurs might finish below Arsenal in
Yeah,
the larger scheme of things. They're just
But
The
going
whole
to.
joke about
years,
Saint Tottenham's Day, I think, something like that. I forgot the name. It's been so long since we finished.
you can get it
Yeah,
back. The honor of finishing
yeah.
above them.
But it's like 10. If
Last
if
I,
if
I
they would have won, it would have been 10 points clear. Now we are 4 points near them. So hopefully it turns out to be good.
Yeah,
I think it has been a very mixed season for Spurs. The way they started, it looked like, oh, it is the second year of or the second season of Jose, as
Jose.
they
Yeah.
say. Yeah,
Yeah,
and they will go on and win the title. Then I think they had some injuries, and then they just lost the form completely.
I
that's
think
So
true.
also depended heavily on Son
Game.
and
Kane.
yeah, I
Kane.
think wasn't it one of those two who got injured after like their initial start?
Yeah.
I think Kane got injured or
Yeah.
Son. I don't remember now, but yeah, it is
Kane
turning out to be
Kane
another
got injured against
disappointing
Liverpool, but
season.
he wasn't out for that long.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah. Anyways, I guess a
Yep.
good win for
For
Arsenal,
sure.
and we can
Yeah.
probably move on
Next
to
is
Liverpool, maybe.
What
Yeah.
happened there, Avinash?
Avinash in
What
the new
happened there?
look.
How did this result came into being?
Finally won the game.
Avinash has a new look now.
Avinash is shot
Yeah, are you
himself.
okay,
Like
Avinash?
look at acting.
Your forward scoring a
Yeah, man.
goal
Yeah, yeah.
and Liverpool winning.
I feel for
He won the
one, I
game. He
think
scored a goal.
just a point. In the first minute I felt Ellison got lucky, really lucky to not get a not get a penalty against him. So
Yeah. I mean, but
yeah,
then again, Mane should probably got a pen as well at the other end. So I know
Yeah,
it have to go down nowadays, but he actually did get impeded by Patricio. So yeah, I mean, listen, yeah, we got lucky, I guess, but it's not something we've had a lot of. So it's the law of averages at the end of the day. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think the key talking points for me were basically having actual centre backs.
Two of them.
The
That's
back
two
four
of
to
them.
change.
Such a luxury for Liverpool.
Yeah, it's
Purav
almost like
kept on
a curse,
saying,
right? Having centre back,
Purav's
centre back.
Purav's wish was granted,
Yeah, I think
and Fabinho in the midfield.
yeah, Fabinho on midfield. Actually, that was the key, really. I think there was he did it against Leipzig in midweek, and Fabinho was just absolutely outstanding. It was there for all to see. You know what we have missed this season. I've said it before. He's probably the best DM in the world. He is the best DM in the world for me, and he was like a vacuum. He was just hoovering up absolutely everything coming his way, and he just kind of did the same thing against Wolves. It was not a great game. I think it was just one of those really hard fought ground out wins. But at this point in time, we'll basically
On
take any.
that on that question, do you guys think that Wolves again, like this season, they are kind of exposed given the transfer, like out, like players that have gone out, and like basically they're depending heavily on Jimenez, and I think we discussed it in the group. Like I think Traore, like I think he might be like the most frustrating player to watch.
He's
It
not
it
been
looks
good.
like he has
Yeah. He
everything,
doesn't
but
do a
Yeah.
lot these days.
and and product is like terrible.
Yep.
I think
I
he was
agree.
one of those Bulls players who had multiple chances to at least level the game, or
I don't think it's
it was
just.
frustrating. I mean, he
I don't
gave
think it's just this game. He has shown that in like many games where he has the pace, he has the skills to dribble and whatnot, but at
There
the
is,
end of the
yeah.
day, it just doesn't materialize into anything.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
I think a lot of assists that he got last season was for Jimenez. I mean, it was that very typical move where he'd beat a man, put a cross in, and Jimenez
Cross
would
and
get it in.
right.
So
but
exactly.
that's how he got
but
most of
he
his assists.
was also not a regular starter, right? Last season. I mean, he was always brought on as an impact substitute, and
Mhm.
maybe that was because of his skills and pace. When the defenses are tired, you bring him on and maybe get something out of it. But he's
Yeah,
not a, I think, regular starter or starter material.
yeah.
Yeah.
I remember he did really well against Man City
Yeah,
last season.
I mean,
He scored
that's
a brace or
something
something.
even
As
like
in
all
that,
teams show up, man.
as in that, I think that's a pattern. Like Dan James, Traore, like our player who definitely do well against Man City because of all the space that is left behind
Yeah,
for them to
Yeah,
run.
get down and run
yep.
sort of
As
players.
in, yeah, you don't. Yeah, in that case, you don't need a lot of footballing intelligence. If you just have the raw pace, you can just reach the goal pretty much because there is no one back.
Yeah.
Yep.
But anyway, yeah, I think
True.
that kind of is that actually really helped. Uh, Kabak and Phillips, they don't have a striker. Wolves basically anybody who can put the ball in the back of the net. Or William Jose was decent. His hold up play was okay. He was bringing people in, but absolutely no threat at all in the box. Fabio Silva wasn't that much better, so they will have sterner tests in the future. I mean, yeah, like I was telling you, imagine coming up against Lewandowski or Benzema. that could very well happen. So
Yeah.
they've had 3 games, 3 clean sheets, but I've been up against the likes of McBurney, McGoldrick. Leipzig didn't really have a striker of note either. So I think there are definitely positive signs that finally we have. This is probably the first time that we've had the same centre back pairing for 2 games in a row. I
Mhm.
could
And
be wrong,
recognize
but
that back.
at least yeah, 3 times in 4 games or whatever. So there are some shoots of some hope there. Uh, and hopefully we can stick with it for the rest of the season, put Fabinho in front, and at least it'll give us some stability. I think that's all we can hope for at this point, because we are not going to get any of the injured centre backs back. So this is what we have. So yeah, that was the one main thing, and the other one was obviously Diogo Jota coming back.
Yeah.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah.
I mean, scores against his former club. It's like he's never been away. He hasn't missed a beat. He's out
Yeah.
for 3 months, comes back. He had plenty of chances against Leipzig also. He should have probably scored. Yeah, he just looks really good. I mean, it's been a breath of fresh air. Now we have actually, he's basically playing the Firmino role, but he's very different. As in, he's more similar to Mane and Salah in like he stretches the pitch. He's got strength. He always likes to get in behind. He's got an eye for goal. So now instead of 2 players, we now have 3 players doing that, which is a much greater threat. So I think that's kind of shown in the last 2 games. And you look at the bad period of form that we've been in, right? Jota has been out from December to March. It's almost like it's not a coincidence.
Yeah.
If we had Jota for this period, so would we have been challenging Man City? No, but we definitely have more points, and we'd probably be much more comfortable in the top 4 race. But it is what it is. We have something to build on. We have a centre back combination. We have players coming back. Naby Keita also came back. Ox looked really sharp when he came on. So things are looking slightly up, at least compared to what we've been
Yeah,
used to.
I wouldn't count on the last player, but
I was looking for Diogo Jota under the strikers list in FPL, and then I realized he is a midfielder.
Midfielder, yeah.
So,
Salah is a
and I
midfielder.
had,
Mane is a midfielder.
yeah, and I don't have
Not
room
that
in
they've been of
midfield
much use
to
this
pick
season.
Jota. So
Yeah. This time on that, like slightly a tangent, but in FPL, I think they really need to work on qualifying midfielders and strikers better. As in,
yeah, true.
no way Salah Mane can be midfielders for this long.
Aubameyang is a
oh
Aubameyang is a
winger
really?
or whatever.
midfielder. Yeah, he's a
Oh wow,
midfielder.
that's
Yeah,
so. Who are
it's
the
horrible.
strikers?
Basically,
There is Kane. There is
Kane,
Vardy.
All your typical
Lacazette.
number 9 or
Calvin-Lewin.
number
Typical
10s.
number
I should
nines.
say.
Lacazette,
Basically, anybody who
Martial.
doesn't play up front is a
Oh
midfielder.
wow.
That's how,
So City
not
doesn't
So
have
wrong.
any attacker.
No, we just have
I
Aguero
mean,
and
Jesus.
Jesus.
Yeah.
no, for
Jesus.
United though, because
Martial.
Martial
Martial
what?
is.
Oh, Rashford is
Martial
also
is
not.
just like
Yeah.
Firmino is a striker.
No, Rashford is a
Oh,
midfielder.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's
Cavani.
another.
You guys
That's
forgot
Yeah.
Cavani,
another.
but
I
you
like
don't
it
like
though. I mean,
Cavani.
it makes it interesting.
Cavani is a striker.
There'll
That's true.
be too many strikers and not enough midfielders to choose from. So
Yeah.
this kind of make it interesting. Yeah, I mean, so that's just it. Now we have a 3-week break, which is really strange. I think I've spoken about this already. The scheduling, putting an FA Cup game at the weekend and moving the Premier League games to midweek. It really doesn't make sense. The teams who are not even involved who kind of had to play extra games, and now they have a week off, which is kind of useless, I think, because you have the international break. So whatever you work on will be forgotten anyway. So it's kind of, yeah, it's a bit shit.
So what's the rule for the quarantine? So if the players are on international
Yeah.
break or the games, do they have to like stay
I think
away from PL for 10 days?
there are some countries which are on the red list. South American countries were, and I think we weren't going to let our South American players go. But then CONMEBOL suspended the qualifiers anyway because of this problem. I think a lot of players were not being allowed to go. But basically, FIFA has a ruling that if they have to quarantine, then you can refuse them joining up on international duty. And I think Liverpool are going to do that with Naby Keita. I think Guinea have to play in Namibia, which is on the red list, so they're kind of not letting him join up for that particular game. So, yeah. I mean, I don't have anything more to say. It's about.
It just struck me one thing I wanted to bring, probably more a general topic. Like we mentioned in the North London derby about like how lopsided Arsenal was. I think we have noticed that even in the United game, like United are very, very lopsided when it comes to their performances. Is that a recipe for disaster? Like, because like if you look at like Liverpool and City, I think they are probably more balanced, like considering the full strength teams, in terms of like their attack and defense, in terms of making the pitch as wide. Do you think it is a deterrent if you are like generating all your attacks from one side? And would you be found out very, very soon?
I
Yeah,
think it's
those are very one-off
you have
situations,
one
right?
side, you become more predictable, right? In that sense, and that is where United get exposed. I mean, you try and stop Rashford and Martial and Luke Shaw, and then the other side, you have nothing basically.
Yeah.
And
It
so
can work for specific games, I think. Like that's what you usually see, right?
I see.
It works in certain games, and then people are talking about it for the entire week. They're pulling up screenshots and saying, "Oh, look, these are the overloads, etc." But yeah, I think over the course of a season, definitely that's not really a sustainable style of play. You need to have basically width on both sides. You need to stretch the pitch as much as possible so you can open up space in the center. I think that's kind of.
Yeah, I was trying to think of any examples where it worked for an extended period of time, but I couldn't. So yeah, that makes sense. It never really has had the sustenance. But yeah, I think that might be a good segue to the United game if Avinash you didn't have anything.
No, I'm just like, yeah, it's something to build on. That's all I'm saying. I'm just not getting carried away. I'm not looking at the table. So on to the next game. We'll see.
Yes, one game at a time.
Wait, hold on a second. Move on. I wanted to ask you any prediction on scores for. I think the next game is against Arsenal,
No,
right?
it's West Ham. Arsenal has
Too
West
far
Ham
out.
next.
Liverpool, West.
Oh,
We're talking about
I
Liverpool.
thought Liverpool.
No, that got
No,
delayed
that's after the
actually.
break.
That that got
Oh, that got
pushed
delayed.
back.
That's after the
Yeah,
international break.
four.
It was always after the break. What do you mean
No,
got pushed
it
back?
was delayed. I feel. I read some
No.
headline that Arsenal Liverpool game got pushed back for whatever.
No, maybe it went from Saturday to Sunday or something because they
Okay,
just scheduled
that
it.
might be the case. I didn't read that.
Okay. Okay. No worries. Well, moving on to the Man United game, I don't know. I felt like even though we won the game, Nisarg, it was a lucky own goal in a way. I mean, yeah, we created a chance which led to that own goal, but in totality, if that goal wasn't scored, I mean, I think this was going to end up another 0-0 because the players were, even though, I mean, from the our front three with Rashford, James, and Greenwood, I don't think we were that strong. We weren't. First of all, we created few chances; they weren't put away. We weren't clinical as usual, and then midfield. As far as the midfielders go, I mean, Bruno, I felt even though he didn't score a goal or he didn't end up having that assist as such, I think he played a very influential role in this game. He dropped deep quite a bit,
Yeah.
which led to since West Ham were pretty much parking the bus during the first half, and then once they conceded, they ended up they ended up opening up. They brought on the attacking players in Ben Rama and I think it was Lanzini, and then they started attacking United. In fact, I felt like if they started that way, United would have been exposed and they could have scored. So it as a United player, I'm happy. 3 points is what matters, and that kind of gets us closer to confirming top four. But that I don't know. I just feel like that I'm not happy about the fact that I still see James starting on the right. Um, I don't know if Greenwood has that in him to actually lead the line, just because he's not that strong to hold the ball up and stuff like that. Uh, Rashford being Rashford, I mean he's playing with a shoulder injury. I mean there isn't. I feel bad for him because he's been burnt, but at the same time he misses crucial chances and stuff like that. But in my perspective, we could have done better. We could have, I don't know, paid Diallo, give him some. The one thing that bothered me actually was the fact that we didn't use any substitutes.
Yeah.
And that's I would like to hear your take on it actually, because I just felt like it's the we have been complaining about the fact that people are being burnt out, fatigue, injuries, and stuff like that. We need to make sure we use up the squad as much as possible. So, what do you think about that?
Like I personally feel like I don't know what could have been done given our bench and
Yeah,
the
I was
players
about
we
to ask.
had. Uh,
Was
He played
yeah,
goalkeepers. That's I mean on the
no,
bench.
but
Well,
like even if you remove a goalkeeper, you're probably bringing someone from the academy. Not that it would be an option to bring someone into the game. And I personally feel that he definitely has taken the route of he. I don't think so. We are confident like that we can go in Europa and win it. So like securing top four, I think is the top priority. And uh, yeah, as in I can. It was frustrating to see no subs, but at the same time, I can see why. As in, I don't think so. There are players on the bench that could be trusted to hold on to a 1-0 lead. Um, so, as in, you could probably remove, you could probably bring Matic for Fred, like to like substitutes. But I didn't see it. Like, who could you bring to that you could trust? Like Diallo and younger players are probably okay to throw in if we need a goal. But if we have to hang on to a lead, I don't think so. There was anyone that was there on the bench.
Honestly, I was actually kind of disappointed that Diallo didn't start the game because he proved that he can actually perform and he can actually get. I mean, this game could have easily ended up as a 0-0, and then we would be, talking about the fact that he didn't bring on all those
No,
players
it
and
would have
stuff like
been
that. So
like a different game, right? Like he would have brought in, like, since you guys had the goal,
Yeah,
just sit back and not worry about it, I guess.
yeah. As in David Moyes came to get a point. As in the entire
But
team
I
was
felt West
structured
Ham
that
were
way.
not
What
that
was
great
that? West Ham was
actually.
so disappointing. It
Yeah, they
reminded
were
Yeah.
very, very disappointing.
reminded me a
As
bit
in,
of
I
game as well. Where they just were extremely negative and too respectful and just sat back.
yeah. As in, and it was like, yeah, generally like one West Ham player that I was looking at was Declan Rice, but it was like such a bad game to look at him because they sat so deep.
Yeah.
They pretty much had like 7 men defending, and it was it was weird that given the vulnerabilities that United had with the injuries and stuff, Moyes decided to just come and sit back and settle for a draw. But yeah, again, as Sheldon said, super happy with the 3 points. Again, I felt like I think Maguire and Luke Shaw had brilliant games. And also Greenwood, I felt like even though the lack of stature in terms of like strength and stuff, I think given the two huge centre backs West Ham had, I think he had impact. He had a pretty good impact in the game. Like he was doing that sort of Firmino kind of a role where you can't really wrestle with the centre backs. You know you can't. So yeah, basically you drop deep, try to make spaces, run behind. I felt that he probably had his best game of the season so far. Uh,
Greenwood.
Greenwood. Uh, I agree to you that he probably is still not ready for the number 9 role.
Yeah.
Uh, but
So, but then I heard Sheldon mention who was it, Diallo, right?
yeah,
So isn't he also pretty short guy and also pretty like a thin fellow?
yeah, but
So
then
what will he
but
offer better than
but
Greenwood?
but I think he is on the right wings.
I
So
would play
you,
Diallo for Greenwood. I would play him for James because if the thing about James is like we have spoken, if he needs space in order to make an impact on the game, and that's one thing West Ham weren't offering at all. So
the low block.
yeah, exactly. So to break those teams, you need creativity, and Diallo. That's where Diallo comes into play.
Oh, okay. I thought Diallo was a central
No,
striker or
he's definitely a
okay,
right
all right.
winger.
No,
Like
he's off the
Okay.
right.
he was our last minute ditch as a substitute to Sancho. I feel
Yeah,
Oh,
Can't believe
it,
we
it
got
okay.
is.
again.
Yeah, it is surprising the amount of money we have spent on him. Too much trust, or it was just desperation. I don't know.
no, I think spending 37 million on a player. I mean, especially I feel I think they've done enough research because I think Diallo was going to end up at either Parma or even Juventus were interested in him. So I think he is one player who has lots and lots of talent. He's been compared to even like Mahrez in a way. So if he can actually replicate what Mahrez has done for Leicester or Man City, I think we'll be in good shape in that sense. But at the end of the day, I think United still do plan on getting a right winger. By the way,
Yeah, yeah. Do you guys?
Do they plan on keeping Oli though? Talk of a
As
new
in,
contract.
it looks like he's going to get a new
yeah,
contract.
he's going to get a 3-year
That's good.
contract for
That's
9
good.
million per year. So he's definitely staying.
Yeah, maybe we should
We
talk about
need
that.
Ole to stay.
Yeah, but do you guys think has United secured top 4? What do you guys think, as from a neutral
Neutral? Who
perspective?
is neutral
I
in
think
this,
so.
Nisarg? Everyone has a stake.
As in, not a United perspective. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, I
I
think
feel
70.
United
Yeah,
are safe.
I too feel.
I think United need to win 7 more games out of the 9, and then they probably.
I think 70 points is enough for top 4 this time. And the what?
Yeah,
57? Yeah, I think. Yeah, they're
And
done.
actually, I was listening to the commentary for that United West Ham game, where the commentators were like, West Ham have done really well, but can they keep up this sort of form
Hmm.
that they are in? And in the same game they lost. So
Yeah.
I still feel that United is pretty comfortable there. I think they will keep getting wins, maybe not so great wins, but they will just
Yeah,
somehow
Chuck
manage to get 3
manage
points. Yeah.
I think the
both the
rest of
So I
moment.
think that's
the about winning a trophy. I don't. I think the league is fairly
I don't
comfortable.
think they're going to
I
be
thought,
Hmm.
worried much.
yeah, I think the current top four is probably going to finish up.
So you don't think so? Everton or West Ham would have some flurry?
West are not getting anywhere close. I don't think, as sad as it is, I don't think Liverpool will either. I'd be very happy if they do, but I think we'll miss out as well.
No, I feel Leicester have a pretty tough schedule.
Yeah.
They do, but I think they're too far ahead for Liverpool to catch them, and I don't have any faith in West Ham and Everton. They'll drop points because
so. Do you
ultimately
feel?
they are
So
reactive
do you
negative.
feel
Yeah,
City, Chelsea, United, and Leicester will be the top
yeah,
four?
I think so.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
I feel
Leicester. I
United
would
are
have.
fine.
I think Leicester will drop off, but I don't know if they'll drop off enough, and I don't know if Liverpool will be consistent enough.
Hmm.
Not.
Surprisingly, Kelechi has picked up the goal scoring burden from Vardy in the last few games. He has
Yeah,
been on
Yeah,
the score sheet for Leicester and getting them goals.
Yeah.
that's true. Yeah. He scored a hat trick, right? This time around.
Yeah.
Yep. Last
hmm
game. Yep.
There goes our goal difference advantage. But yeah, it's yeah. I guess probably with that we can move on to the the boring topic of City
Running away.
winning, and but having a say.
Yeah, I thought that
Ah,
scoreline was flattered City a bit, I felt.
so no, actually, I feel that the first half we were like, I think Fulham were very good. They were defending well. They were also, I think, on the counter they were trying to get a goal. I forgot the name. Was Lookman,
Look,
right?
Lookman,
yeah,
yeah.
Where he
on the
was looking pretty dangerous. Uh,
He was very good against Liverpool also.
yeah.
yeah, I think he has good pace, and also I think the way we set up, it was like I think no one was expecting that, but everyone at the same time I think felt that okay, this is something Pep is trying for maybe upcoming games or the CL games. Mendy, it was good to see Mendy get some game time finally, like
Basically
after
earn his
many
wages.
seasons, yeah,
Glad to know
getting
he's
some
alive.
game time. So that was good. And yeah, I think it didn't the 3-4-2 formation didn't really work out that well.
3-5-2.
Uh,
3-5-2.
Yeah, 3-5-2.
yeah, it was I think it was a very 3-4-3 I think. Sorry, yeah, 3-4-3 maybe because Pep started with both the strikers, and it was like just confusing to see what is going on in the pitch. So, but I think Fulham after the first goal, I think Fulham kind of were trying to play their own game. That was one thing that they didn't change. They just kept on passing at the back, and I think our pressing kind of led them to make mistakes, and
Yeah, two
somehow,
goals, two mistakes.
yeah. I mean, it was nice pressing, I should say, not really mistakes, but uh, but yeah, I was like, okay, after 1-0, I think nerves were like settled. Now after that, it felt like okay, City will be fine. And then yeah, and then just the nice pressing from the front like Jesus was good. So yeah, but another win. That's it. Nothing much
Yeah,
to really discuss.
Stones actually has 4 goals in the Premier League. That's pretty crazy.
that's
Yeah,
true. As in, I'm pretty sure Pep should be like the most hated FPL manager with all the roulette he plays in terms of like shifting players. No KDB, no Gundogan,
So this week
he
was
uh,
a
actually rested a lot of players. I
Yeah,
think
no
he rested a lot
Sterling,
of first team players. Yeah, not no Sterling was nowhere, not even on the
yeah,
bench. So
no
he started with Conan Jesus. It just felt like yeah, Pep is doing good man management right now, and
Hmm.
I was happy with that. Uh,
Do you think
and I
Aguero?
think he will. he will not try this formation again maybe in future.
Yeah, actually, I had two questions. One was the formation. Do you think it was something intended for the Champions League going into the quarterfinals? Because Pep does have a history of overthinking when it comes to the Champions League knockouts. And second one was, does Aguero? I don't think he has a future, but do you see him making an impact for the rest of the season?
I do. So for the first question, right, the formation. So if you look at today's game versus Mönchengladbach, I felt that Pep kind of stuck to his original formation or original way of playing. Cancelo was coming into the midfield to help out with the counters.
Was Ballon d'Or.
So I don't know if 3-5 or 3-4-3 will be something Pep wants to use in the future. But the one thing I felt was good today that we didn't play with any strikers, and that was sort of a really interesting way to. I was listening to the BT Sports guys, and they were like, that kind of can confuse the defenders who are used to like focusing on a striker to mark.
Isn't
So I
that
don't
how
know if
it
3-5-3 or 3-4-3 will be the formation in Champions League.
Mm.
But and the second thing on Kun, right, regarding Aguero, I still feel that Pep has eased him into the games. Like this has been one of the slowest processes I've seen for an injured player to get back into the first team. I still feel Kun can be of help because the one thing I noticed, I think it was the game before the Fulham where he came on as a substitute. And the one thing I noticed is as soon as he was in the box, he had that first chance to shoot at the goal.
Yeah.
He went for the shot instead of taking a couple of extra touches, instead of trying to make like space for others and pass it to someone else in the box. He just went for the shot. And that's something I think we have been missing a lot because Jesus has that tendency of taking extra touches, trying to take on multiple players, and then see if he can just pass it to someone. And whereas that hasn't worked out that great. So I
And I
feel
think, and I
when
think
we
even
have that shooting, like a striker who can just take good shots, that is what we want really.
as in for Champions League, especially when probably the chances are at premium, you definitely want someone
Right.
who can hit a good shot and score a goal,
Yep.
because one goal
And
might be enough.
and the other thing I noticed with Jesus is that it's his style to take on multiple players. I noticed that even when there is a single pass or a simple pass available to make, he will not do that. He will try to take on multiple players and then maybe shoot or then try to pass. By that time, the chance is gone. So I think that is something we will hope that Kun gives us in the Champions League this time. And other than that, yeah, I don't know about the formation though, because that's something you can never say about Pep. I think in Champions League he has gone with so many different variations.
There's something
But I
mad
feel that
every single time.
I feel Pep has learned at least to be more. I should not call it defensive, but he will not just go out and attack every single game in every versus every single team. He will first, at least this season, he's trying to secure that, make sure that no goals are getting conceded due to mistakes. That is, I think, the biggest problem we have had in Champions League when trying to play our style. Some player makes a simple mistake and we get punished because of the quality of the opposition. So I think that's something Pep is trying to make sure doesn't happen going forward. And I think this time we are looking super solid at the back. So yeah, I think Pep will try to fill up the bodies in the midfield for like crucial Champions League games and try to stop counters. That is what he will go for.
Yeah.
True.
All right.
Yep.
I don't know. Do we want to talk about any of the games? Let's
One
see.
quick thing, what I probably didn't ask Rahul. What do you think about Aubameyang and the disciplinary action?
I mean,
That's
It felt like a school teacher like telling someone to
but
stand out of the classroom
I don't even
for a
really
game.
know what
What
happened.
was it? What was that? Nisar?
So Obama,
Sorry, I missed the question. Oh,
Aubameyang.
Aubameyang. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Aubameyang turned up
oh,
late,
he
so
turned up late.
I think on multiple occasions he was given.
He said he was stuck in
Oh,
traffic. Did
I
he?
didn't know. I tr
That's what I.
Actually, someone posted a tweet. If did you guys see that? Someone posted a picture of his car
Yeah,
oh,
stuck
you.
in a one lane, in a single lane road, and that is what they said is that is
late.
why he got
Yeah.
late.
I
So I don't know
Oh
if it was
man.
a
I
joke
mean, for
or what,
whatever it
but
is, I feel like that's a good thing. I feel like at least you feel Arteta is comfortable with his squad, that he feels that he doesn't need Aubameyang for the win, not that he's been scoring a lot of goals. But yeah, I guess in my opinion, it's a good thing. And he did look in bad spirits, like he was warming up to come back into the game, and I think he just was not put on later in the game, and Willian came in. But yeah, I feel like that shows that Arteta has the the power to make calls in the
Balls.
team, and someone,
He has the balls to
sorry,
make
what?
decisions. He has the balls to
Right,
make the
right,
big decision because
Yeah.
that was a
yeah.
big decision. I think it's such a big game.
So
Yeah, I feel
Your
it
captain.
backfired. I don't
yeah,
know.
so I
What's
Yeah.
that?
It
It
could
could
have backfired.
backfired.
no, I mean
It
there
could
was
have, but I think it's important.
sorry, no, go
Yeah,
ahead,
go ahead.
Azhar.
No. I think it was important. I think it's important. There is a lot of good things Arteta has done. I think in terms of the actual on-pitch stuff, but actually even off the field, the Guendouzi stuff. I think he's made it very clear, like certain players, so that certain standards
Yeah,
will
no
not be.
BSing,
He has certain standards and they
right?
have to be met. He shipped out Guendouzi on loan, and I think he's froze out
Yeah,
Socrates. Was it?
Socrates he was not.
Uh, uh,
Bellerin also is not playing a lot.
Ozil.
Cedric is coming back, so yeah, he's doing all
Yeah, he's gotten. Mhm. Yeah, so I think that shows that he's a manager who knows what he wants and he's ready
right.
to um, do what it takes. So I think
Yeah,
that's
and luckily it didn't backfire for us, so
probably
I can say that it's a positive thing, at least right now, looking back at the result.
Yeah.
no, but I think that's the tone he's
Yeah,
setting,
yeah,
right,
yeah,
for
yeah.
everyone that going
No
forward,
one,
even if we
no
don't
one is
get
Yeah,
bigger than your
results,
if
team.
Aubameyang can
yeah,
be
exactly.
benched,
So even if you don't get
right?
results,
Especially since he's
Yeah,
the captain and he's on the
right.
maximum wages. Yeah.
Great.
and I think it's okay. Sometimes you may not get results, but at least that tells other players that
Who's the
nothing is
boss?
I
bigger
mean,
than discipline
I
or
would,
rules.
I
So
wouldn't just do it to cross players, it's just for the heck of it. But yeah, sure.
I think the
That's
culture
true.
at Arsenal has been a problem for a very long time.
Yeah,
I think that it's almost it gets forgotten amidst all the troubles on the pitch. I think that's something which has to be
yeah,
set right.
True.
And yeah, for a young manager to do that, I think it's pretty ballsy and yeah, it's a good
True
sign for
that.
us. Yeah, I think that should be it. Do we want to talk about anything else? Chelsea leads. I didn't even watch the game. If you guys did. It's more of the same from Chelsea, I think. Lack of a
Yep.
oh, I
cut.
was, by the way, one thing I was really surprised looking at the number of clean sheets Mendy has for Chelsea
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
He's,
Yep.
I think 2 or 3 behind Ederson, and I was really surprised uh, to see that number. I didn't expect him to be this close to top. So that is
Yeah,
something.
I think he had like 4 clean sheets right when he started.
Started. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and then I think 6 under Tuchel, right? 6 or 7
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
under Tuchel. So
Chelsea have been very defensively very solid, I think, since
That's
Tuchel
true.
came over. So yeah, I think it looks like it's going to be another one of those where it's the least worst team who's going to make it into the top four. So I think Chelsea will probably just make it by default because the teams behind them are crap right now. So
the
yeah,
with Leicester, it's always funny that they start so brilliantly under Rodgers, then they have a couple of hiccups, then they just completely derail, then they
Yeah.
try to claw back in and somehow. So I think this time again they were comfortable. I think sitting at number 2. now they are, I think, at number 4,
Three.
correct? Behind.
The third.
Oh, fourth.
No, it's
Third.
Yeah.
Oh,
Third,
Chelsea.
yeah, yeah.
Sorry, Leicester.
So
They're fairly consistent. They've pretty much been in that top 4 throughout the season.
yeah,
I don't see them imploding that much this season. I just feel like they'll probably learn from last season. I hope they do.
I think Rodgers has done actually pretty well.
Yeah.
After, like, he has been pretty good. He loves to
that's
play
true.
good football. I don't know, he can be maybe defensively, he doesn't really have that like tactic or whatever you call it,
This
that
season,
know-how.
they've been very. He's been very adaptable in that sense. I think Leicester have played a lot on the counter attack.
Yeah.
They've been ready to just defend and counter in certain games. I think against City, they did that against Leeds as well, if I remember.
But then everyone does that against these.
Yeah, but yeah. Then again, right? Like that's the thing about Rodgers. He's ready to sort of bend his philosophy, and that's kind of the change that I've seen with Leicester this season. So yeah, they're actually looking good, and in spite of all the injuries. So I think that has to be mentioned as well.
So actually that brings me to one last topic. So the injury that Rui Patricio got.
Oh yeah.
Oh man,
That was
yeah, that
I
was
was
not good.
so actually I didn't see it, but I heard the commentators
They didn't
bring up
actually.
a point that should the offside flag be raised right when the linesman sees that
Yeah.
to be an offside, or just wait for the play to finish
Yeah,
and then use VAR or whatever to decide?
as
And
in
I
this
think
was
that
a
is what
disaster waiting to happen. This
so,
was, I think we had talked about this even before. This is a disaster waiting to be happened. Like the delayed offside calls, like someone was going to make an aggressive tackle somewhere, and this
yeah,
was going to happen.
and it's not even intentional, right? I mean, doesn't
Yeah,
it can be just out of nowhere that a player gets injured, and
yeah, and that
because
too on a play that should have been disallowed to begin with.
Yeah.
so the thing is, I think VAR will need lot of changes. I don't think the decision to stay with the like the penalties and all those things might not change. They will just be the way they are. But I think this offside rule might get tweaked after this injury, which
Yeah,
is pretty
that's
I,
nasty one
that's a
for
lot
that
of
injury.
the work required on the offside rule anyway.
Yeah.
I don't see all these lines being drawn.
lines.
I think that's not gonna. Nobody's gonna stand for that.
That's true.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
that has to go. I think. But anyway, I
And
think
the
we.
funny thing is, sometimes you see the lines to be a little thicker than
Dude, they just.
some
I
other
swear they do
games.
whatever they want.
Yeah.
It's like they know what they want to do, and based on that, they'll draw the lines or do whatever it is. But yeah, that's probably VAR's topic for another day.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that should do us. So we will be back. We have a few games this weekend, but probably we'll be back after the international break. Thinking of making a few short videos in that time. So watch this space. Stay tuned. So let's see what we can come up with. All right. Thanks for joining us. Until next time. Bye bye.